Hey everyone, this is Lisa from Life in Layouts and welcome back to another Muggles Wizarding Adventures. I'm going to be using the Echo Park Witches and Wizards collection, and I'm also going to be using a sketch from Scrapbook and Cards today. This was a year-long online class that I purchased back in 2020 and I just never completed it, so I'm working through that as well. I pulled out this pattern paper that I picked up at Hobby Lobby when it was on clearance, and the paper itself reminds me of like what paper would look like if like you spilt tea on it or you use like a tea to dye it. I know that that's like something that can be done, and I liked the pattern paper, but then when I pulled out the wand paper, because that pattern paper was also a cream color, I didn't like the way that it looked. I also pulled out the blue plaid because Eli is a Ravenclaw. And because I didn't like the way that paper looked against the wand paper, I just went ahead and went to a white cardstock. So this particular sketch calls for like a large piece on the far left and then a piece that goes in the center that's going to cover the entire layout like top to bottom, whereas the piece on the far left and the far right have like a 1/4 inch border. If I had thought this through a little bit more, I would have used the same paper. Like I would have used the wand paper on both sides instead of the blue plaid, because I don't like the way that it looks. Obviously I'm not going to redo it because the layout is done, but if I use this sketch again, I will definitely keep that in mind in regards to just using the same piece of paper on the far left and the far right hand side. I did gut my paper since I am using a ton of white paper right now. I'm going to use some washi tape on the back to secure it in place. Then when I start to lay my photos down, I have the sketch kind of in front of me on my iPad, and I'm cutting out the photos to go on the bottom right. The sketch does call for 2x2 photos, but I decided that I wanted to use this one photo that was a 2x3 photo instead. And then as I'm putting those photos down, I realized that yellow piece of paper was supposed to have like a 1/2 inch strip on the left hand side of the layout. So I had to pull that yellow piece up, re-put the washi tape back down, and then cut off the 1/2 inch strip and put it over on the left hand side of the layout. I definitely could have left it the way it was, but I did like the fact that it came over a little bit on the left. So I pull out my photos again, and I'm just working through cutting them down because I knew that I wanted to put a white border on all of my photos, so I just kind of cut them down a little bit. On the far right hand side, it calls for the 2 4x6 photos. It calls for, I think, 2 3x4 photos. I don't remember what the sketch calls for exactly, but I ended up cutting down the photo a little bit, realized I probably could have left it a little bit longer because there does end up being a space at the end, but I just cover it up with an embellishment piece. I'm going to use my We Are layering guides to put a 1/4 inch border around all of the photos. I have an extra 2x2 photo, so I decided to go ahead and add that to the far left hand side. All of these photos are of Eli doing the wand experience. So if you've never been to Universal or the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, there are certain places that have this like gold medallion on the ground. If you look at the photo like on the far right hand side, you can see the gold medallion, and that medallion tells you like how you're supposed to move your wand. And the wands that we purchased had like a piece at the end that triggers something in that particular section to make things happen. So it's like it's a magical experience. So like for the one that's on the far right where he's standing in front of the well, when he waves his wand correctly, water comes out of the well. And then the photo on like the far left hand side, it's a shop, like a masonry shop, I think that's what it's called, where they like make armor and they use fire to like make swords and stuff. When you use the wand at that point, it makes the armor stand up, like it's in like a kind of a laying down position, and then it stands up. So it's a really cool experience, and all of these are like different places that he had gone and done the wand experience. I did pull out this pattern paper that has all of the books on it. I thought that that was a pretty cool addition to the wand, since, like, you know, you're supposed to read up on your spells and know your spells from the spell books and things like that. So adding that border strip up there at the top, and then I used a black piece of paper that has little stars on it and used my border punch to add a border to it. All of my photos go down flat. I did not use any fun foam on this particular layout. And I did pull a couple of pieces from the ephemera pieces. Over on the far left-hand side, I use a tag that says, "You're my favorite wizard." On the left-hand side of the layout, to the right of the photo, that red tag there says, "Your imagination will take you to magical places." And then right below that photo, there is a tag that says, "You're a keeper," and it has a wand on it as well. I did use some jute twine on my tag over on the far left-hand side. And then I'm also going to add some jute twine to this little tag that I'm going to add to the right-hand side that just has 2 wands on it. Over on the far right-hand side, I also used a little ephemera piece that says "My First Wand," since this obviously was his first wand. I pulled out my enamel shapes in a black matte, a red glitter, and also a like silver clear white piece. I used Nicole's journaling template to write out my journaling, and I probably should have paid attention more to where I was going to put the journaling, because these journaling strips are way too long. Once I get all of the pieces glued together, I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to add them, and I realize that I'm going to have to cut them in half. So the strips do look a little wonky, but it is what it is. The journaling strips say, "With the wave of his wand and the right incantation, Eli was able to watch magic happen right before his eyes. It wasn't easy, but with a little help from a trusted spell casting champion, he soon nailed the best tricks in the book. By the end of the day, Eli was a spell casting wizard." And I did pull some of those terms from the website, because I do tend to use the website as a cheat guide to help me with my journaling sometimes. All right, so here is my final layout as well as some close-ups. I hope you're enjoying this adventure as I relive Eli's 11th birthday at the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. If you enjoyed this video, if you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it. If you haven't done so already and you want to see more double page layout inspiration, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Thanks everyone for watching, and I hope that you have a scrappy day.